So, dangal greetings po everyone. Dangal greetings Sir Albert. So, before everything else, I want to introduce my members first before everything else. So, we have Alvarez Claude, we have Balbero Lee Rafi Angelo, and me and I, Bautista Lawrence Jr. C. We also have Bernal Mars Jairus S. We also have Bukid Abraham Christopher, then Butin Josel, then Crisostomo Alner Jr., then Del Rosario Micaela Denise. So for our final assessment task, we are tasked to do a simple website using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, and PHP. So basically po, para na siyang working website without a host. And syempre may database din po siya. So dito po sa final lab assessment task namin ay gumawa po kami ng isang management system ng grocery. So syempre po bilang management system ay meron po siyang CRUD. So meron po tayong create, read, update, and delete. So now, before po namin i-explain yung logic, I will be do the demonstration first. So again, greetings for everyone. I'm Bautista Lawrence University. And for our demonstration, kung makikita nyo po dito ay na-open po natin yung website natin using a localhost. Kaya kung makikita po natin sa URL ay localhost, shopsync, which is yung folder, then index.php, which is yung file. So pagkabukas po ay mapupunta tayo sa POS terminal. And dito po makikita natin yung meron po dito sa gilid, yung mga existing products na po natin. Then, dito naman po sa gilid yung cart po ng user na gagamit natin. And, after clicking, halimbawa po yung bottled water. Pag kinlik ko, mapupunta po siya dito sa cart. And, kapag kinlik ko po siya ulit, ay yung quantity niya po ay magbabago. Ito 2, kanina po ay 1. So, ganun po yung pag-operate dito sa ating website. So, titignan po natin kung nagana tong search products. So, halimbawa, gusto ko pong i-search yung laundry. And ayan po, in real time, magbabago na po siya. No need to reload. So, halimbawa po, gusto ko na mag-checkout. So, after clicking the checkout po, So, syempre, kailangan po muna natin mag-enter ng amount natin to pay. Syempre po, in real life situation, before po natin makuha yung mga items sa grocery, ay magbayad po muna tayo. So, sabihin po natin na 100 po yung payment ko. So, kung makikita rin po dito natin in real time, yung change or sukli po na pupunta sa atin. So, after checkout, ayan po, may lalabas na receipt. Then, meron po tayong toast kanina dito na may checkout successful. Then, ito naman po yung receipt natin. Yung total po, which is kanina yung ginawa natin sa demonstration, 2 bottled water with the price of 15 pesos. And yung payment po, yung 100 po na nilagay ko na amount, then change 70 pesos since 100 is minus to 30 pesos. Then, close nyo and yung transaction. Yan po. So, after po pagka-click ng button na yan ay yung items po kanina dito sa cart natin ay mawawala. And yung quantity dito sa ating side, kanina po, stock po ng bottled water ay 50. Since bumili po tayo ng dalawa, ang kanyang stock na lang ay 48. So, real time po na nagbabago siya once we click a button. So, dito naman po sa another tab, we have inventory. So, ito po for stuff po siya. So, yan po. Dito po, mayroon pong edit button, then delete. Then, after clicking everything po, ay syempre magbabago po siya dynamically. So, halimbawa po, baguhin ko yung mga low stock natin na laundry soap. So, since low stock po siya, what if baguhin ko into 20? So, i-update ko po yung product. So, after clicking the product po, makikita po natin dito sa table ay dynamically changes yung stock niya, pati yung status. Kung kanina po 8 na low stock, ngayon naman po 20 with in stock. So, what if I delete naman po? So, i-delete ko naman po yung low stock na delete button. So, okay. Ayan. Then, ayun po yung mga modification na pwede natin gawin so far. So, halimbawa po, add product. So, ngayon, halimbawa po, ang i-add ko na product ay yarn. Tapos, ang price ay 20 pesos. Then, quantity ay 15. Then, category ay stationaries. Then, add product. After clicking the po, kung makita po natin sa inventory natin ay na dagdag po siya. So, what if naman po sa database po natin? Since kanina po tayo nagmo-modify ng mga data natin. So, makikita natin po sa products ay, wait lang po, since loading siya. Ito po, yung yarn kanina na meron tayo. Na in-add po natin. And yung sa sales ay, ito po, since ako po ay ito po yung ginamit natin kanina or binili natin kanina bottled water with quantity of 2. Then, payment po natin ng 100 kanina. So, ayun po, kung makikita po natin, it dynamically changes the system po after clicking the button or submitting a data. So, after the demonstration po ay papakita po namin yung mga logic behind sa mga pangyayari po kanina na kung makikita po natin sa demonstration. And before the code po, and since gagamit po tayo dito ng PHP, and syempre po, naka-database na po tayo dito, and di na lang po naka-session. So, ngayon po, dito po sa database natin ay our schema.sql na file, gumawa po tayo ng database named ShopSyncDB, which serves as the main storage ng lahat ng system data. Inside this database, meron tayong 3 main tables. The first table is products. Ito yung core inventory table kung saan nakastore ang product ID, which is yung primary key natin, then name, category, price, and quantity, or stock. Dito, kinuha ng system yung products na nakadisplay sa POS at inventory tabs natin. So, second naman po yung sales table. Ito naman ang nagre-record ng bawat completed transaction. Kasama rito ang transaction number, ang total amount, payment received, change amount, at timestamp. So, every checkout is properly documented. Then, dito naman po sa ating third table. Kung makikita po natin dito, ito po yung sale items. So, dito naman po sa sale items natin ay ito ang detailed breakdown ng bawat sale. Meaning kung ano-anong products ang binili, ilang quantity at magkano ang presyo per item. Then, connected ito po sa sales and products table using foreign keys, which helps maintain database relationships and data integrity. Then, lastly, kung makikita po natin dito sa baba, nag-insert po tayo ng ating mga sample data. So, 10 sample data, including categories like beverages, food, bakery, dairy, household, and condiments. This gives the system initial inventory para ready agad gamitin after setup. So, overall po, this database design allows ShopSync to efficiently handle inventory management transaction, recording, and sales tracking in a structured way. So, ayan everyone, done na tayo sa ating database. At ngayon, punta naman po tayo sa index.php, which is yung main page ng ating system. So, kung makikita po natin dito sa page load pa lang kanina, gumamit na tayo ng PHP with database connection para i-reload agad yung products gamit ang backend db.php na meron pong keyword na require once. So, hindi blank po yung interface once we access the website and naglo-load pa rin po yung JavaScript. So, sa taas naman po, meron tayong navigation bar na makita po natin kanina kung saan makikita ang system name na ShopSync at isang real-time clock para mas practical gamitin sa actual store transaction. So, parang real-life application na po talaga. So, next, meron po tayong 3 main tabs kung nakita nyo rin po kanina. First po is yung POS terminal. So, ano nga po ba yung dito po sa POS terminal? Yung POS terminal po natin ay dito makikita yung product grid kung saan naka-display ang products with name, price, at stock availability. Kapag low stock, may warning badge at kapag out of stock, automatically disable yung item para hindi na ma-add sa cart. So, may search bar na rin para mabilis hanapin yung products na meron tayo. So, sa right side naman is the cart selection po, which is ito. Nandito naman po sa cart selection natin, dito naka-table format lang lahat ng products kasama ang category, price, stock, at status tulad ng in-stock, low stock, or out of stock. May edit and delete button rin for product maintenance. So the third tab is what's na yan? Is add product. Then dito naman po sa add product natin ay dito pwede mag-input ng product name, price, quantity, at category with validation messages para maiwasan ang invalid entries. Same form is ginagamit din for editing products kaya efficient ang design. So kapag successful po ang checkout, lalabas yung receipt, model, showing the date, which is ito, yung model po natin, showing the date, transaction number, items purchased, total payment, at sukli, giving users an official receipt experience. So, overall po, yung page natin ay designed to combine sales, processing, inventory tracking, at product management in one simple and user-friendly system. So, that would be all for my part. Thank you po.
Greetings, and my name is Marciaros Bernal, and I'll be explaining about the db.php. The db.php has its own job, which is to reuse the database connection and make it available to any PHP file that includes it. It uses a PDO, which means a PHP Data Objects, which is PHP's modern secure database interface. Here's what each part does. We have host, DB name, user, and pass. These four credentials needed to connect to MySQL. Localhost means na database server is on the same machine as the web server. Then the new PDO opens the connection using a DSN, means a data source name string that specifies the driver, host, database name, and charset. Then we have a PDO error mode or exception that tells PDO to throw a PDO exception whenever a query fails, instead of silently returning false. This makes bugs easier to catch. Then the try catch block, if the connection fails, like a wrong password or the DB doesn't exist in the first place, it sends back and then shows a error message, then exits immediately. So no other code runs without a valid connection. So the PDO is the variable that holds the live connection object, and every other PHP file does a require once db.php and then accesses a PDO via global PDO inside their functions. So that is my explanation on db.php. And greetings, and the next part is we are explaining about the sales.php, which is handles everything that happens when a customer checks out, recording the sale, deducting stock, and returning receipt data. That has three functions. We got a process sale. This is the main checkout handler. It receives data from front end, and we have the cart as a string, and the payment amount and the total. And the JSON decode converts the cart string back into a PHP array. Then that we can validates input, which is rejects the request if the cart is empty or if the payment is less than the total. It wraps everything in a database transaction, like a begin transaction, commit, and rollback. This is critical. If anything fails midway, rollback undoes all inserts so the database never ends up in a partial or corrupt state. Then we can insert into sales that records the transaction number, total, payment, and change. That loops through each cart item. For every item, it inserts a row into sale items and calls deduct stock. If deduct stock returns false, it rolls back the entire transaction immediately when it hasn't enough stock. The commits and returns receipt data. On success, it calls the get receipt data and sends the results as JSON. Then we have the deduct stock with a parameter of product ID and quantity. This function safely reduces a product stock quantity. It first checks the current stock with a select query. It does not blindly subtract. Then returns false if the product doesn't exist or if quantity is even more than the data name called QTY, which would result in negative stock. This false return is what triggers the rollback in process save function. Then runs the update only if there is sufficient stock, subtracting the purchase quantity from the product's current quality column. Then we got a get receipt data with the parameter of sale ID. This function builds the split receipt payload after a successful sale. Then it fetches the sale row by using the sale ID to get the transaction number, date or time, total, payment, and change. Fetches all sale items for that sale, joining with the products table to get each product's name, since sale items only stores the product ID. Then returns a structured PHP array which processes sale, then encodes to JSON and sends to the front end, where app.js uses it to populate the receipt modal. And that is our explanation from the sales.php.
Dangal greetings, I'm Buting Josa Raymar M from 2YTA and I'm going to explain the bb.php. It is a simple API that handles different product operations such as retrieving, adding, updating, and deleting records from the database. At the beginning, the code sets the response format to JSON so that all output will be returned as structured format, so it can easily be used by a front-end application. Then it includes the database connection file to access the PDO object. Next, the code determines what action the user wants to perform by checking if an action value was sent through either a POST or GET request. Based on this value, a switch statement is used to call the appropriate function. If the action is GET, it calls the function to retrieve all products. If add, it inserts a new product, and if update, it modifies an existing product, and if delete, it removes a product. If the action does not match of any of these statements, the code returns an error message in JSON format. And the getProduct function retrieves all the records from the product. Using a simple SQL query, it then converts the result into an associative array and returns it as JSON. If there are no records, it returns an empty array. For the addProduct function, it collects input values such as name, price, quantity, and category from the user. It trims unnecessary spaces and performs validation to ensure that name is not empty, the price is greater than 0, and quantity is not negative. If any validation fails, the function returns an error message and stops execution. If all inputs are valid, it prepares an SQL insert and safely execute it by using prepared statements. After inserting the data, it returns a success message along with the ID of the newly added product. Next is update product function. It works similarly to the add function, but it also requires a valid product ID. It validates the ID and the other inputs, then execute an SQL and update the statement to modify the existing record. Once the update is successful, it returns a success response. And last is the delete product. It takes a product ID, check if it is valid, and execute a delete query to remove the corresponding record. It delete uh, and if successful, it returns a confirmation message.
So, hello, Donald greetings everyone. Good day. I'm Balbero Lira Piangelo, and today I'll be explaining to you my assigned part, which covers the two classes in our app.js file. So, the cart class and the product manager class. So, first, let's start with the cart class. So, the cart class of our system is responsible for managing all items that the customer adds before the checkout. So it has one property called the items, this one. So it's an empty array that holds all the products currently in the cart. So let's move to the first method, which is the add item method. So when a customer adds a when a customer clicks a product, so this method checks if that product already exists in the cart. So if it does, it increases the quantity by 1, but only if it hasn't exceeded the available stock. So if the stock limit is reached, it shows a warning toast. So if the product is not yet in the cart, it simply pushes it as a new entry with a quantity of 1. So our second method is remove item method. So this takes the product ID here in the parameter and filters it out of the items array. So it effectively removes the item from the cart entirely. And our third method is the increase quantity method. So this method finds the item by ID and increments its uh, quantity of the item by 1. So, but again, it only if it hasn't reached the maximum stock. So if it has warning is shown that is maximum stock reach for this item. And our fourth method, which is the decrease quantity. So it also takes the ID of the item. So this reduces the quantity of an item by 1. However, if the quantity is already at 1 and the customer decreases it further, instead of going to 0, it just removes the item from the cart entirely by calling remove item method, this one. And our fifth method, which is the clear method. So this simply resets the items array back to empty. So it is called after a successful checkout or when the customer clicks the clear button. Our sixth method is the compute total. So the only use of this method is the reduce function. So to loop through all items and multiply each item's price by its quantity. Then adds them all up to get the grand total. And lastly, the last method for our cart class, which is the is empty. So the only thing it does is that it returns true or false depending on whether the items array has any entries. So it used by the validator before checkout to make sure that the customer isn't checking out with nothing in the cart. Now, let's proceed to the product manager class. So, The product manager class handles all communication between the front end and the back end, specifically for products. So it has one property called products, this one, which stores the full list of products fetched from the database. Our first method is the fetch products method. So this sends a get request to the back end yung product that PHP natin with action of get. So it then stores the return JSON here array into the products property and returns it. So if the request fails, it throws an error. The second method is the get by ID. So this finds and returns a single product from the local products array by its ID. So notice that it uses loose equality. So instead of strict, this is intentional because the ID from the HTML dataset attribute is a string, while the ID from the PHP response is a number. So loose equality makes sure that they still match correctly. So our third product is the add product, which has a data parameter. So this builds the form data object with all the products details and the action set add. Then it sends a post request to backend sa ating products.php. It then returns the server's JSON response here. So our fourth method, which is the update product method, it still receives the data parameter. So this works the same as the add product, except the action is set to update, and it also includes the product ID, so the backend knows which record to modify. The fifth method is the delete product. So this sends a post request with just the product ID here as parameter and the action delete. So telling the backend to remove that product from the database. So together, uh, the cart class handles everything on the client side, while the product manager class bridges the front end to the back end. And that's all for my assigned parts. And thank you for listening.
Greetings to Albert and Miss Alvarez Lourdes, and today I'm going to explain my part in our group project. So my assigned part was the app JS. So let's start with the class UI. So the UI class, this one, the main container that groups all display logic together. It has no setup code in the constructor. It just exists to hold the three render methods below it. And then we have going on. We have the render product grid, the products. So what are these? So basically what this does is that it builds the clickable product cards for the storefront. Checks each product stock zero, for example, zero gets an out badge is out and turns the card faded and unclickable. Fade out. And then let's go see here. And 1 to 5, for example, gets a low warning. Each card stores a data ID so the app knows which product was tapped. And then we have the render inventory table going on here. So what is this? So it builds the admin inventory table. Each row shows the product number, name, product number, name, category, and price, and also a color coded stuff badge. For example, we have green, yellow, red, a status badge, and then edit plus delete button. Yes, edit and delete button. We have that, and the outline has a danger one. The basically this carries the product's ID. So when the render cart items. So basically, what is this? Um, hmm. So it draws the shopping cart panel, shows or hides whether the cart's empty. So for example, um, it's gonna show if the container is has items. It's gonna show cart items. If it's empty, it can say cart is empty. It depends on whether there are items. So if there are no items, the cart will be cart equals empty, and each item row displays the main price times quantity equals total plus um, minus and plus buttons. We have minus and plus buttons. Let's see here. And to adjust quantity and X to remove. So basically, what overall, all three methods follow the same rhythm. So basically, it's just clear the first we have clear the old display, then check for empty data, loop and build HTML, append to the page, and basically that's it. So what this does is that it's for keeping the code clean and maintainable and very predictable and easy to maintain. And that's all.
Greetings, Sir Albert. Greetings, everyone. I'm Abraham Christopher M. Bukid. So, for today, proceed tayo sa iba pang functions dito sa app.js. So, meron tayong update totals na may parameter na subtotal. So, yung function na to is nag-update siya ng subtotal at total na makikita sa screen. So, kino-convert niya yung value into peso format gamit yung peso symbol. Gumagamit din siya ng fixed function para maging two decimal places yung numbers. For example, 10 pesos, ano siya? Magiging 10.00, ganun. Tapos, after nun, dinidisplay niya yung subtotal tsaka yung total section. Next, dito naman sa update change display na may parameter na payment tsaka total. Dito naman kino-compute yung sukli ng customer kapag may payment na input. So, kapag may payment na input, kukunin niya yung difference ng payment at total. Tapos, kapag kulang yung bayad, magiging negative yung change. Tapos, naka-highlight siya ng red. Tapos, kapag tama or sobra naman, green yung color ng highlight. Tapos, kapag walang input, naka-hide yung change display. Ito naman, populate receipt from server. So, ito naman, ginagamit to para nagfi-fill ng receipt gamit yung data galing sa server. Since minsan, string yung galing sa backend, ginagamit natin yung parse float para ma-convert ka into number bago lagyan ng to-fixed na function. So, pinapakita dito yung date, transaction, number, total, payment, tsaka yung sukle. Tapos, dynamically siya dynamic yung paglalagay niya ng list ng items na binili. For example, yung quantity na nakalagay din doon. Tapos, yung quantity yung kung ilan, ganun. Yung presyo, yun, nandun din. Next is show receipt modal. Ito naman, yung nagpapakita ng receipt modal gamit Bootstrap. Tapos, gumagamit tayo ng get or create instance para maiwasan yung bug na multiple modal backdrops kapag paulit-ulit siya na ino-open. Ito naman, hide receipt modal. So, ito naman yung nagtatago ng modal tapos nagre-reset ng form. So, nililinis niya yung payment input tapos tinatago niya yung change display. So, nireset niya yung totals para ready na ulit sa next transactions. Next is yung show toast message na show toast tapos may parameter na message tsaka type. Tapos, nagpapakita ito ng notification sa user. Gumagawa siya ng toast message dynamically. Tapos, lumalabas siya for 3 seconds. Depende sa type. Ito, success to. Success yung type niya. Tapos, lalabas siya for 3 seconds. Tapos, nag-iiba yung color niya. For example, success. Iba yung kulay. Tapos,
yung error, iba din yung kulay. Tapos automatic nawawala, ganun. Tapos meron din tayong update inf count. So, ina-update natin yung inventory count sa screen. Kung isa lang yung item lang yung nakasulat. Tapos kapag madami, items naman siya, ganun. Ito, may S. Nadadagdagan nito. Set form mode. Tapos, ito naman, nagsiset siya kung add mode or edit mode yung form. So, kapag edit, lalagyan niya ng existing data yung fields. Papalitan niya yung labels like update, product, o kaya naman, i-reset niya yung form. Tapos, related dyan yung reset forms. Kasi yung reset form, nililinis din nito yung mga input fields. Tapos, error message, binabalik niya yung form sa add new product mode. Tinatago niya yung cancel button din. Tapos, lastly, yung switch tab. Yung switch tab, ito yung ginagamit para mag-switch ng tabs sa UI. So, hinahanap niya yung tab gamit yung ID, tapos inactivate gamit Bootstrap. So, kapag wala na yung tab, maglalabas siya ng warning sa console, ganun.
Greetings everyone, I am Alner Jr. A. Chrysostoma, and I'll be walk you through our validator class, the manager class, and three standalone helper functions of our project. So the validator class has two methods. The first is validate product form, which runs every time a user tries to add or update a product, making sure the data is clean before anything gets sent to the servers. It reads three fields, name, price, and quantity. It starts by clearing any previous error messages, then checks each fields one by one. If the name is empty, it displays product name is required. For price, we check using is none, combined with a greater than zero condition. This was actually a bug fix from the original code, which used not price. The problem with that was this returns true for policy values like zero or an empty string, which cause valid decimal prices to be incorrectly rejected in some cases. The new version is more explicit and reliable. For quantity, just make sure the value isn't negative. If any of these checks fail, the method returns false and the form submission is blanks. Then next is the second method in the validator class is validate checkout, which runs the moment the cashier clicks the checkout button. It verifies three things in order. Is the cart empty? Has a payment amount been entered? And is the payment actually enough to cover the total? What makes this method a bit special is that instead of returning just a plain true or false, it returns an object with two properties, okay and reason. This way, when validation fails, the app knows exactly why and it can show a specific helpful message like cart is empty, please enter a payment amount, or payment is less than the total. Instead of just one generic error, that detail makes a real difference in usability. Then the next is the sales manager class, which has one method, process sale. This is what actually sends the completed sale to the server. It uses form data to package up the cart contents, the payment amount, and the computed total, then sends everything as a post request to backend sales.php. One important fix we made here. Earlier versions had a local transaction counter sitting in the JavaScript, which meant every new browser session would start counting transactions from one again. We removed that entirely. Now the transaction number is generated by the server, so it's always accurate and consistent no matter who's logged in or how many times the page has been refreshed. If the server returns an error, the method tries to parse a message from the response, and if that also fails, it falls back to a generic error message. Then next is the standalone helper. The show toast is a reusable notification function. Whenever something happens, a product is saved, checkout succeeds, or an error occurs. This creates a small pop-up message using Bootstrap toast component. It accepts a type parameter so the color changes based on context. Green for success, yellow for warning, red for danger. It auto dismisses after 3 seconds and remove itself from the DOM cleanly afterward. Update clock is straightforward. It updates the live clock displayed on the POS interface with the current time. It runs once when the page loads, then repeats every second using set interval so the cashier always has an accurate time reference. Then filter products. Filter products powers the search bar on the product grid. As the user types, it filters products in real time by matching the search query against each product's name. If the search box is empty, it simply shows the full products list again. It works by passing the filtered results directly to the UI's render product grid method. So that's all po. Thank you.
This section serves as the starting point of the system and runs once the web page is fully loaded using DOM content loaded. This ensures that all HTML elements are ready before any JavaScript functions execute. Inside this section, the system initializes its core components: the cart for managing selected items, the product manager for handling product data, the UI for displaying information, the validator for checking user inputs, and the sales manager for processing transactions. It also starts a real-time clock that updates every second. After initialization, the system immediately fetches product data from the server and displays it in both the product grid and the inventory table. It then sets up event listeners to handle user interactions. For example, the search bar filters product in real time, while clicking on a product adds it to a cart and updates the total and change dynamically. Users can also clear the cart, adjust item quantities, and remove items entirely, with the interface updating automatically after each action. The payment input field calculates change instantly, giving feedback on whether the entered amount is sufficient. The checkout process is the key part of this section. When the user clicks the checkout button, the system validates the cart and payment using the validator. If valid, the sales manager sends the transaction data to the backend, which processes the sale and returns a receipt. The system then displays the receipt, clears the cart, refreshes product data to reflect updated stock, and shows a success message. Additionally, this section handles product management features such as adding, editing, and deleting products through a form and the inventory